Hey, it's Ash from Revolution Me. I'm a clinical neuropsychologist and I help you harness the power of your brain so that you can live the life that you deserve. And Happy New Year, it's 2016. In fact, it is January the 1st of 2016 and I'm doing this video about New Year's resolutions because it's kind of the thing that everybody is talking about at the moment. Now, I don't place a whole lot of faith in New Year's resolutions because I'm of the school of thought that if there was something that was important enough for us to be doing, then we would probably be doing it already. We wouldn't be waiting until New Year. Having said that, I know that for some people, the prospect of a new year, it's like the promise of a fresh start. And there's a lot of energy at this time of year, a lot of people making resolutions, and it's kind of nice to jump into a healthy lifestyle or a better way of life when you've got other people around you who are also doing their resolutions of their own. So I totally get why people make New Year's resolutions, and I think it's a fantastic way to improve the quality of your life in whatever aspect that may be. However, I do come across three big mistakes that people make when making resolutions or even setting goals for that matter. And that's what this video is all about. I want to help you achieve your goals, and so here are 3 tips for you to help you do that. So the first tip, many people when they set their goals, they frame it in terms of what they don't want. So I hear people saying things like, I want to quit smoking, I want to stop eating junk food, I want to stop being so disorganized. And you'll notice that in the way that these goals are framed, there's not much focus on what the person actually wants to be doing instead. So when someone says, I want to quit smoking, the emphasis is on quitting smoking rather than what they want to do instead. And this actually has 2 problems because first of all, if you don't know what you're going to be doing instead of the smoking, you're going to default to any kind of pattern, even one that might be just as unresourceful as the smoking was. And so that's why people can often gain weight when they quit smoking because they're so focused on quitting smoking and they end up using food as a substitute. And if they're eating unhealthy foods, then they're going to gain weight. And the second reason why you don't want to be framing your goals in terms of what you don't want is that when you focus on what you don't want, you end up thinking about it more and more. So if your goal is to quit smoking, all you're going to be thinking about is smoking, and that kind of defeats the purpose. So instead, you want to make sure that you frame your goal in terms of what you do want. So you want to be healthier, you want to be more organized, you want a more organized home, you want to start an exercise program. Whatever it is, you're making sure that you're framing it in terms of what you do want. So that was the first tip. The second tip is to make sure that your goal has just 1 or 2 actionable steps. So let me tell you what this means. So let's say that your goal is to get healthier. Now, getting healthier, it could actually mean several different things for you. It could be drinking more water, it could be getting more sleep, getting more fresh air, improving your stress management. It might be eating better, cooking more at home, more home-cooked meals rather than eating out. It could be improving your emotional well-being. It could be improving your time spent out in nature with animals. There's so many different things, and the problem is that when we try and incorporate all of these facets into our resolutions or into our goals, it becomes overwhelming. Can you imagine trying to keep your mind on all of these different aspects that you need to change in order to improve your health? It becomes overwhelming because there's like too many balls in the air that you're juggling. So I always recommend, instead of trying to focus on changing everything all at once, just focus on 1 or 2, the most important ones. So if you want to improve your health and you know that by quitting smoking you can do that, then maybe that becomes the actionable step that you take. So improving your health is, instead of smoking, you're going to do, and you have a list of things that you're going to do instead. Call a friend, paint your nails, chew gum, go for a walk, watch something inspiring on YouTube. I don't know, there's so many different options. By only having 1 or 2 actionable steps, you're making it more likely that you're actually going to stick to it. Because if you get overwhelmed, you fall off the wagon, and that's why so many people drop their New Year's resolutions by mid to late January. So that's a second step, to make sure that that you only have 1 or 2 actionable steps for each resolution. And if you've got 3 or 4 resolutions, then you end up only having to do a handful of things in order to fulfill each one. Okay, so the third tip for you in making sure that you fulfill your New Year's resolutions or your general goals is to make sure that the action steps are things that are totally within your control. So I know that for some people who are trying, let's say people who are trying to get healthier and maybe drop some weight, one of their action steps is to weigh themselves every day and make sure that there's a loss on the scale. Now, unfortunately, this is something that's not 100% within your conscious control. You cannot dictate what the scale says because, of course, the scale can vary from day to day according to different factors. And if you base your success or your feelings of success on something that's actually out of your control or partly out of your control, then it's more likely to make you feel dejected than if it's something that is within your control. So here's an example. If one of your New Year's resolutions is to get healthy, then a better way of achieving that would be to drink 8 glasses of water in a day, or however many you need to. It would be to eat this many servings of fresh fruits and vegetables, something that is totally within your control and is not going to be influenced by external circumstances. Another one that people will often say is that they want to spend more quality time with their friends or their partner or their children. And that's a great goal. You need to be really clear though that the way you achieve that goal or the steps that you take towards that goal are things that are within your control. So if your way of spending more time with your partner is every Saturday night is date night, that might not be something that's within your control. Whereas if it is to send a text message every day saying I love you, or it's to say I love you, that is something that you can control. You can't always control whether Saturday night's free for date night, but you can control whether you send a text message or you say the words I love you. I trust that makes sense. So let's recap really quickly. 3 ways that you can maximize your chances of achieving your New Year's resolutions. 1 is to make sure you frame your goal in terms of what you want. The second is just to have 1 or 2 actionable steps for each resolution. That way you won't get overwhelmed. And the third step is to make sure that those steps those action steps are things that are totally within your control, not things that are partly within your control or that you have some influence over, but things that you have total influence over, and that way you can ensure your success. So I trust you found this valuable. I'd love to know what your resolutions are and whether you found this valuable for your resolutions in 2016. So drop me a comment below. You can like, you can subscribe, you can share this video, all that good stuff. And I will be back very soon to talk more about New Year's resolutions and goal setting. So stay tuned, and Happy New Year, everybody. Happy 2016. Here's to a great year, and I'll see you in the next video.